Let us continue with our lesson. And so we have one functionality to get the max ID from the DB. And what we will need to do is to get the tags based on this particular max ID from our server. So what we will do is we will go to the endpoint over here and we will add a new endpoint. So we have all tags and just copy this one. And I will say instead of all tags, I will just say a tags or get tags and by ID, right? So get tags by ID, and we will create an API link of a tags get tags, right? Get tags by ID. So this API endpoint hasn't been created in our web application, but we will create it in our REST API later. So first of all, we'll just set it over here. So get tags by ID. And next step is to go to the network service over here and we will create all tags. So what I will do is I'll create another one. So over here, it should be of a get function and it should be of a endpoints dot get tags by ID. Yeah. And I will create a suspend function to get a tags by ID. So get tags by ID, we of course have to pass the header, right? So first just copy the header. We'll pass the header over here. I think we pass it over here. And next is we also need to pass the token ID, or sorry, not token ID. We also need to pass the ID. So instead of a path, I think we pass the ID in a route itself. So path variable. So for that, what I will do is I'll just copy this path variable over from here, and we'll just pass it over here. And this is the ID, or we can call it as max ID. That should be better. And this is of a max ID. So we pass the max ID as a path variable over here, and over here we have to do each. Let me add it inside the inverted comma over here, and we need to pass we need to pass over here the max ID over here. So the max ID is this one, right? So just copy and paste it over here, and this one we have to make use of a string formatting dollar and curly brace, and inside this curly brace we can add this one, right? So we have endpoint with a max ID, and for that endpoint by the end I should add a forward slash over here. So we have a endpoint as well as we have a function, suspend function get all tags by ID, and this should return what we need to return is the response of the list of the tags. So just copy this one and paste it over. So it will return the list of the tags response. And now we need to call this function in our tags repository. So currently we have over here. So I'll just say a suspend function get tags by ID, and in the token we have to pass a token, right? Token as of the string variable, and also we need to pass the max ID, which is also of a string data type. So string data type, that should be of a string data type, right? So we have to pass the string, and this should return the network service dot get tags by ID, and we have to pass the token and the max ID. Okay, so we have the function over here, get tags by ID, and the next step is to go to our home view model and make use of that function whenever we have this particular max ID. So let's do it in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.